cuffie e B, ma si ascolta solo a mono, no? È un casino, per sponda, perché poi le devi tenere un po' alto perché quando passano qua non si sente niente.
Non si chiama il tuo collega quello con gli occhiali?
Quale?
Ce n'è uno, una volta l'ho incontrato a Misano, era disintegrato dalle zanzare.
Alto, basso.
È abbastanza alto, grossetto.
Ah, Jolly, c'è.
Lo so che l'ho visto.
Jolly. Ah, ma basta che dicevi pelato, lui è bolognese.
Esatto.
E io sono romano ma vivo a Sant'Arcangelo di Romagna, quindi Jolly è uno spettacolo, è un mito.
Gli ho dato delle UTAL perché... ma era disintegrato.
Jolly è un mito, Stanotte non l'ho fatto dormire. È perché era a fianco alla camera mia, russava, ma lui c'ha un problema, c'ha l'apnea notturna, quindi è un casino, c'ha una malattia proprio. E allora bussava al muro per andare a sfondargli la porta. È un mito, Jolly. Se non ci stava, lo dovevi inventare proprio. Quindi lo segui tutto,
No. Allora io del TCR faccio 3 gare, faccio tutto il Blampin. Perché 3 anni fa sono stato a casa 4 domeniche solo, che facevo.
Quindi eri a Misano pure il Blampin là di Misano? A Scozzio lo fanno gli inglesi, quello là. È difficile entrarci.
E quello è bello.
Gli inglesi fanno. Si chiamano, sono tanti della Formula 1.
Esatto.
Lo so, ci stanno 2 o 3 colleghi italiani che però, come dico io, non è gente che fa miracolo. Il miracolo qual è? Che sapete, me si concede tipo, io sono il bravo, no? Io sono un fotografo, sei bravo, mi chiamano a me, mi dicono, me ne serve un altro, magari per conoscenza, ti chiamo, quello è il miracolo per me. Però non è gente che fa miracoli, se lo tengono loro e se lo tengono. Quello loro fanno la Formula 1, sono anni che fanno la Formula 1. Io per essere ho iniziato nel 2006, quindi per so tutti, ma non è per vantarmi, non me ne frega un cazzo, ti dico quello che faccio, vai a vedere, però come dicono gli altri sono uno dei più bravi in Italia, però nonostante io ci ho messo tanta passione, capito? Io sono uno che chiedo, faccio, vado, sperimento, ma guardo le partite a casa, ma guardo le cose, quindi la gente queste cose non le fanno tutti, io ci ho messo quella passione perché per il momento è ancora una passione, è un lavoro e passione. Quando smetterò magari che cazzo te devo dire? Finisce pure la passione, allora però non è gente che fa miracoli. Io sono tornato nel 2013, sono stato 3 anni a Doha, in Qatar, ho fatto il campo. Ho portato tante persone in Qatar, ho fatto fare dei qualcuno è rimasto, sono tornato perché avendo la famiglia, 2 bimbi, la scuola non me la pagavano. Alla fine c'avevo 6.000 euro di stipendio, però dando i soldi per la scuola
Sì, ma è come, cioè, io...
non mi conveniva più.
Allora, ho guadagnato, per carità.
Round 9 of the TCR International Series. Round 9 and 10 this afternoon. And we have an intriguing afternoon's worth of racing for you. My name is Ben Constanduris. I'll be guiding you through the action from the commentary booth. We've got Mark James down in the pit lane, and we've got 16 cars on the grid for you. They are in a slightly mixed up order because qualifying was in wet conditions, and therefore it should be even more fascinating in terms of racing. This is a slipstreaming circuit. This is a very, very fast circuit, and no one has really done proper representative running in dry conditions. John Calvinet is on the pole position. He inherited that yesterday after penalties were given out to 2 of the 3 West Coast racing teams. Here is the grid for you. John Calvinet will line up alongside Pepe Oriola in the Seat, and then the Austrian Harold Prozak, who was the fastest man in qualifying in the wet conditions, demoted down to 3rd because his team had him stacked at the end of pit lane during a red flag. They were waiting at the end of pit lane. That's illegal in touring car racing. You must be in your pit box in the slow lane, not in the fast lane. So He was penalised, as was Gianni Morbidelli. They were dropped 2 positions each. There was also warnings for a couple of the other drivers who had lights that were not working. Race director has already made sure that those lights are working for this race. Michele Cerruti had an engine change. James Nash, differential change. David Kajaya got a black flag, and Stefano Camini had a gearbox problem. They all at the back of the field, and that just adds to the intrigue because there's at least 3 of those. Well, 2 of those are championship front runners. David has shown good pace, and we know that the Alfa Romeo is doing a lot better. Oh, Pepe Areola blowing us a kiss. A place he loves, a place he took second in the European Touring Car Cup in 2013. It's the same weekend that Dusan Borkovic won his very first ever race. And so there were quite a good feelings around the paddock about this track. Here is the entry list. Volkswagen, Honda, Seat and Alfa Romeo back this weekend. Peter Fulin, the ETCC European champion multiple times, is driving one of the cars. Michele Cerruti, Miki Cerruti, is driving another. And we have 2 guest drivers from Austria this weekend. One in the Liqui Moly team Engstler Volkswagen, Florian Janitz, having his first experience of front-wheel drive. And the other, Harold Project, who is a seasoned veteran in Mini Challenge, in GTs, and leading the German TCR Championship. And he is driving for the West Coast Honda team, adapting to the Honda, who's used to the Seat in that championship. Nice to see the crowds are starting to form. They were all woken up this morning by a Toro Rosso 2006 Formula 1 car that is being displayed here in Austria. And absolutely no one around the area would have got any sleep after that car went out on track. Wonderful noise. Check out my Twitter, Ben Consti, for a little video I put up. Here's Gianni Morbidelli. Hasn't finished the last 3 races of the TCR International Series and was leading the championship before that. Must ask him why he waves in such a funny way. But Gianni Morbidelli is desperate to finish a race. Power steering problems he had in Imola. He then got clouted by his teammate. The car wasn't right in the second race. He didn't finish that one either. And he DNF'd from Spa from a puncture the weekend before. Good guests here, by the way. Thanks to West Coast Racing. Thanks to Liqui Moly. So we've got a good crowd. Here are the point standings. Areola leads Camini by 18. Morbidelli down to 3rd now. Nash 37 back. Mato Homola, first time in the championship for him as well. Must remember that James Nash is new to the championship and back to front-wheel drive racing after a couple of years in GT racing. So those 2 new. Vernet also new to front-wheel drive, lies 6th in the championship. And then we look further down at some of the drivers who have come and gone and hopefully will come back, like Kevin Gleeson. Kevin, I know you're watching. Please come and join us again soon. We're missing you. Quick look at Florian Janitz on the left-hand side there. Front-wheel drive débutant. Rear-wheel drive single-seater experience that he has in the ADAC Formula 4 Championship last year. And here is Stefano Camini, or there was Stefano Camini anyway. Hello everyone, it is race day at the Salzburgring. Rounds 9 and 10 coming to you, and we are racing against each other and we're racing against the weather because inclement conditions are expected for this afternoon. And there is Jean-Carl Vernet, who will quite enjoy a little bit of wet conditions. He was very fast in wet qualifying yesterday, and he takes the pole position here. Here is the layout, 4.2 kilometers in length, 2 15-lap races for you on offering. Very fast track, very old school, as Miki Cerruti said to me, a little bit like a very tiny Nürburgring. Very little turns in runoff area, very fast, quite bumpy, and just 2 chicanes to limit the power. There is Miki Cerruti's fans. And they've been up there all afternoon, all weekend, enjoying what was sunshine this morning, but the clouds are rolling in. We are about 30 kilometers outside of Salzburg as we take a look at the grid, And the weather conditions are very, very unpredictable. Verne Oriola, Procek, our new Austrian for the weekend, leads the German championship, third on the grid, was fastest but had a penalty to drop into third. Oriola, Borkovic, Morbidelli also was penalised, drops to sixth. Afanasiev seventh. Alfa Romeo in the top 10 for the first time with Peter Fullen in eighth, Grashov ninth in the Honda, and then Attila Tassi in 10th position was the fastest man in Q1. Looking to do good things for B3 Racing. Mato Homela, his teammate, in 11th. And the cars head out on their warm-up lap. All 16 vehicles are on circuit. At the back of the field, you can see Michaela Cerruti. She had an engine change, did not take part in qualifying. The humidity, you can see, is increasing by the second. It's warm, it's sticky out there, and that means one thing when you're in the mountains. We are expecting a storm. So the grid was formed in horrible conditions yesterday afternoon, rainy conditions in the second part of qualifying, and now we're driving in the dry conditions. That's going to mix things up straight away. We know that Oriola surely has a faster car down this back straight than Jean Carvenet. Jean Carvenet reckons he's about 10 kilometers an hour slower than the Hondas and the Seats in his Volkswagen. Lots of work from Attila Tassi, trying to get those rear tires working. Front wheel drive means that the front wheels do the turning, they do the power as well, and the rear wheels are just there along for the ride. And therefore, trying to get temperature into them is very, very tricky. But you need the temperature in these Michelin slicks, because when you throw it into that first corner, you want the rear to go where you want it to go rather than where it wants to go. Stefano Camini starts at the back of the field as well after a gearbox change meant that he couldn't get out in the dry part of the qualifying session and missed out. Camini at the back of the field. James Nash also with a differential issue starts at the back of the field. Two men you'd expect to be moving up through the field. But can Stefano Camini? Does he have the pace in the car? It's all about slipstream this circuit. We'll see a big, long queue of cars going into the northern section of the track. The Uschleif, which of course means the west, not the north. So it's the western part of the circuit. And then the Fahrerlager curve, which is where we are now. And this is where the rain came from yesterday. And it was very interesting because from one end of the circuit to the other is only about 1.2 miles, but we saw deluge rain conditions in the Fahrerlager curve, where we are now, and it was almost dry at the other end of the circuit. It was only a mile away. So expect to see that rain head in that direction. The Leopard Racing team running John Carvenet has taken a win this year, so is Stefano Camini. Very difficult to see where your grid position is. And as you can see, John Carvenet quite far away from his grid position. He's got a chance to move up a little bit further if he wants. But he can't see where his wheels are. 15 laps is on offer. They're all on slick tires. This is going to be fascinating. Who will get the best jump into that tight first chicane? Lights are illuminating when they go out. We are racing. Jordi Oriola creeps a little bit on the second row, and a little bit of wheel spin from Harold Procek in third. It wasn't a good start, but Morbidelli's had a great start in the other West Coast Honda. He tries to find a way past Pepe Oriola, but there is no space. Jean Carvenet comfortably leads as they head down towards the chicane at turn one. Oriola's got the inside line for second. Morbidelli trying to take third position from Jordi Oriola, who goes around the outside very late on the brakes. Oh, has he managed to get through? He hops over. There's contact further back, and that's Harold Procek. We've got Peter Fullen in there, David Kajaya. Jordi Oriola's got his windscreen wipers on as Michel Grashov attacks him. But no way through. Grashov was on the outside line. Who else was involved in that accident further back? Surely Procek is not going to go forwards from there. Oriola already trying to attack Jean-Carl Venet on this early running. Venet not happy with the speed of his car down this back straight. Let's see what sort of difference there is. Oriola in the slipstream, but he goes to the outside. Oh, it's easy. Oh, it's so easy for Pepe Oriola. And there's a huge gap between him and the third place car. Peter Fullin with really badly damaged front end. That's such a shame to see. The pretty little Alfa's had much work done on the front end of its car, and now Fullin has ruined one of the few front bumpers they do have here. Not his fault, I must say. We need to have a replay of the start to really decipher what happened. But let's take a check on the positions after the first lap. Over the line, Oriola leads Jean-Carl Venet. Jordi Oriola third, Grashov fourth, Borkovic, Afanasiev, Kamini, Nash, Homola, Gianni Morbidelli down to 10th position. So he's got an issue then after that contact with his teammate. Then Florian Janitz, then Procek, Fullin, Tassi, Kajaya and Cerruti were all held up in that first lap hassle. Kajaya's just come across the line, but we still are waiting for Cerruti, Fullin and Procek. Cerruti now over the line. And I guess we'll see the West Coast Honda of Procek come into the pits, and Peter Fullin certainly will be in the pits with his damaged car. James Nash in the slipstream of Stefano Camini for 7th position. Pulls to the left-hand side, he's got a bit of damage already. Ahead of him, Borkovic and Sergei Afanasiev. Oh! Borkovic puts Afanasiev on the grass as they go side by side, and Peter Fullin desperately trying to stay out the way. Here's what happened at the start then. Oriola very, very late, very deep. So was Morbidelli, to be fair. Bit of contact between the two of them. And it was Tassi that tagged Procek into a spin, and then Fullin just collected them. Florian Janitz taking to the grass to go around the outside, and Afanasiev is in the gravel. I wondered whether that was going to happen. He was on the grass as they went into the Ush Life curve, and I wonder whether there was contact or whether he just simply ran out of space on the track, because he was on the grass, he was on the outside. Either way, yellow flags at turn 11. Here's Oriola, and Jordi Oriola's now got ahead of Jean-Carl Venet. So the Honda up to 2nd position. That must have happened into the first turn because we didn't see it. Here's Procek, who's managed to limp his way back into the pits. The rear of the car not looking very happy at all. What a shame for him. And we'll see Peter Fullin in the pits as well. So James Nash is up to 6th position now. Just behind Dusan Borkovic, and it was Borkovic and Afanasiev who was side by side going into this corner, trying to work out what the skid marks suggest. Afanasiev's doing some rock climbing now in the back of shot there. Wonder whether there was contact between the two or not. Either way, this is the battle for the lead of the race. Oriola, in fact double Oriola, Pepe followed by younger brother Jordi. And then Jean-Carl Venet in 3rd, Grashov 4th, Dusan Borkovic is 5th. And then James Nash there with the lights on in 6th position. A little bit of contact, a little bit of damage on Dusan Borkovic's left front, suggesting he has had contact with somebody. Was that Sergei Afanasiev, or was that in the first corner when there was a lot of loading going on? Kamini defending from Morbidelli. Surely Morbidelli's got a problem. Remember, he was up to 3rd position going into the chicane for the first time. Morbidelli's now in 9th spot. His front splitter looks pretty badly damaged. He's taken a nibble out of somebody. On the left front side there. Clearly not happy. Watch out for Mikhail Grashov this time in 3rd position. He's in the slipstream of Jean-Carl Venet, and as we've already seen, Venet is a sitting duck. Round the outside, down the straight, doesn't even need to worry about using the braking zone. Harold Procek jumping out of his West Coast Honda. No change at the front, but as you can see, Grashov into 3rd position. Before last weekend, Harold Grashov, who had been racing with the Liqui-Moly Team Engsler team in 3 different models of TCR car, had never had a position on the podium. After last weekend, he took the victory in Imola's second race and is now on the podium once again. Having to defend a little bit, wasn't so strong through the chicane at the end of the lap there. So Jean-Carl Venet is on his tail. And Venet also into a worry about Dusan Borkovic. He goes to the inside, locks a little brake. Oh, he goes for 2 positions. Surely. Whoa! Dusan Borkovic backs the car in. All right, so he's under pressure now from Grashov, but what a move that was. Punted the tyre stack out the way as he was completely crossed up. Now he has the inside line, still defends from Michel Grashov. And he holds on to the position, 3rd position. Wow, that was insane. I don't think he meant to do that, and I bet he couldn't do it again. But Dusan Borkovic up to 3rd spot onto the podium. Now Grashov in the slipstream. Now Honda is fast. And they go side by side. Already Grashov in front. So that's going to allow Borkovic now to take the slipstream. And I wonder whether Borkovic is going to be able to take the position back as James Nash goes around the outside of Jean-Carl Venet. Moves himself up a position. Look at this. On the brakes, completely locked up. Rears have locked. Throws it in sideways. Punts the tyre stack out the way. Makes the corner, so he didn't cut the track at all. But he didn't get past Grashov going back into the turn. A little bit of a nudge, a little bit of a love tap between the two of them. But didn't do enough to get the slipstream back again. Yellow flags we've got out on circuit. Safety car we've got out on track. And Oriola slows down. Is that a problem for Oriola? Has Oriola slowed down? Or has everybody passed him? Safety car on track. What's happened to Oriola? It's flames. He's got a problem with the engine. Oh, Jordi Oriola, what can you do? He limps into the pit lane and retires the car at a 2nd spot. Now, why have we got a safety car? Is it because of Afanasiev? We've been out for a few laps now. Here is Oriola coming into the pits, and he just an engine problem or a gearbox problem. Lots of spitting of flames. Trying to listen to what the mechanics are saying. Right, so this is Borkovic on Grashov. And just a little love tap there. No problems, that's fine, that's touring car racing, a little bit of a rub. What we want to see, though, is Borkovic on Afanasiev about 3 laps before. So, yellow flags out. And we haven't got any investigations on that accident between Afanasiev and Borkovic. So Race Control do have more pictures available to them than we do in television because they've got the CCTV cameras. So if there was a question mark between the two of them, then Race Control would have already suggested that they're going to investigate that. Got a few cars in the pits with some damage then. Procek, full in after that first lap accident as the tyre stack gets replaced. And then now we also have the Honda of Jordi Oriola, run by the Target competition team who won the championship last year. There is Afanasiev's car in the background. I wonder if he's made contact with the barrier. It doesn't look like he has. I think he may well have just beached it in the gravel. Afanasiev has been racing in every single race of the TCR International Series. I think bar 1. He's done 29 starts, and he's yet to take a victory. Very accomplished driver. Plenty of experience in single-seaters, in GTs, a winner in the GT category. If we take a look at a little bit of damage on Oriola's car. He was 3rd in the Auto GP Championship in 2011, 3rd in Formula 2 when that existed. The Pro-Am champion in Blancpain GT, 7th only in TCR last year. And his best result ever was taken... his best result is 3rd, twice in Buriram and Sepang. So he has got onto the podium, but Afanasiev, with 29 starts to his name, you'd expect a bit more from him, really. Proving, though, that it's not easy to transition between rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. Very different disciplines. Different ways of loading the car up, as all of the work is being done by those front wheels. So late on the brakes, get the wheels, get the suspension compressed. Here's a quick look at the rather mangled front end of the Alfa. What a shame. Fulin was, they need to get that car fixed basically by the end of the race, because race control will shut the pit lane at the end of the race. So parc fermé conditions mean no mechanics can do any work on the cars. Now, this is good news for Afanasiev, because he's out the gravel, he can get back to the pits, and any damage that the car does have can be fixed by his team. Let's have a quick look. Puncture left front, perhaps, when the car comes round the rest of the lap. Have a quick look. And maybe if he did have a puncture on the left front, then he would have found it very tricky to get back into, get the car slowed down. Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, completely torn off. So whether that was contact or just simply unlucky, but that's what sent Afanasiev into the gravel trap. Absolutely no doubt about that. But he does limp the car back to the pits, and the Bamboo guys will jump on it, get it fixed. They, again, I stress, I don't think I finished the point actually. They need to finish fixing the car by the end of this race to make their grid position for the next race. It looked also a bit like there was damage to the left rear. Jordi Oriola not happy at all. Was very, very, very much looking forward to racing here. Afanasiev's about to discover a different route into the pit lane, I think. Safety car is coming in this lap. We're halfway through the race here. Race 1 in Salzburg, and we're going to get racing underway. Michele Ceruti at the back of the field there in 12th position. We've got 4 cars in the pit lane. Well, we've got 3, and then Afanasiev. And he's done a good job of staying out of trouble. Green flags are flying then. The safety car pulls into the pits. Afanasiev's got to get himself out of the way here. He just about does so. Oriola leads the field across the line. Grashov second, Borkovic in 3rd position. Nash, then Jean-Carl Venet, then Homola, Morbidelli, Camini, Janitz, and David Kajaya in the top 10 point scoring positions. The field all bunched together. And it's time then to get into the slipstream again. More laps added because of the laps behind the safety car. So the race is now a 17-lap encounter. Homola right on the tail of Jean-Carl Venet. Searching for his first win. Got his first podium last time out in Imola. Homola second, had a pole position in Estoril. He's got the pace. Maybe not necessarily got the luck, but he's going to have a massive slipstream here along the back straight. Pulls out of it to go past Jean-Carl Venet, but not quite fast enough. And behind him, Gianni Morbidelli will be hoping that he can go through. Oh, he's a bit just on the outside there. I want to see further back. Let's see what's going on further back. Has he got through? Yes, he has, but Morbidelli hasn't got through. The move was done so late by Homola, it didn't provide a slipstream for Morbidelli to basically take advantage of the gap that he'd opened. The race control are going to be looking at that chicane accident at the end of the race. The contact between Jordi Oriola and Harold Procek. I think basically everyone was a bit late on the brakes. A classic go-karting loading situation. Quick look at Florian Janitz, who's made a mistake there. Oh, and he's let David Kajaya go past. And Attila Tassi, I think, will follow through as well behind. And he does so. Janitz still getting used to the front-wheel drive. Obviously, when you put your foot down in a rear-wheel drive car, the rear wants to come around. It helps your steering, it gives you oversteer, but if you put your foot down in a front-wheel drive car, you just plow on. You get loads of understeer. Jean-Carl Venet cannot do anything. This is so frustrating for Venet. Remember, on pole position, and now he's down in 7th spot simply because he doesn't have the straight line speed. Attila Tassi further back, attacking the Liqui Moly Team Inxler Volkswagen of David Kajaya. didn't manage to find a way through that time. But we are going to end up with 4 Volkswagens at the back of the field. And looks like Michele Ceruti has dropped off the back of the queue, which is a bit of a shame in the sole remaining Giulietta. We've got this race on track, but of course we've also got the race in the pit lane to get those 4 cars fixed for the start of race 2 so they can take their rightful grid positions. The most important, Peter Fullin, will start race 2 on the 2nd row of the grid if they can get that car fixed before the end of this race. Right, Oriola is in charge here. Championship leader. Took good points in qualifying. And his nearest challenger, Stefano Camini, is languishing on the very outskirts of the points. And even David Kajaya is on his tail. I think there could be a slipstream situation going on further back now. Camini in 8th position as Kajaya and Tassi about to remove him from that 8th and drop him down to potentially 10th spot. Just 1 sole point whilst his championship rival picks up 25. Disaster for Leopold Racing, because this is not like they can say, oh, it's a straight line speed against a different brand. That's Volkswagen versus Volkswagen, although Kajaya has made a mistake. He put himself on the outside line and opened the door for Attila Tassi. Tassi moves through then up into 9th spot. Let's see Florian Janitz getting himself sorted and getting onto the back of that queue of cars. Further forward, Matto Homola fancies a chance at James Nash, but no chance through the chicane, I don't think. It'll be down the back of the back part of the track. Tassi goes to the outside as Camini defends, but there's no way through. Let's see what they can do traction-wise off the corner. And Camini's done well there. He's got lots of traction, and Tassi's fallen off the back of him. And actually now, Kajaya might fancy a chance coming into the Nockstein curve. Jordi Oriola under investigation for a jump start. Well, we called it. We saw it. He actually got the car stopped, but he was over the line by that point. And what's the point of investigating him anyway? He's 13th, and he's in the pits. Either way, he's going to get a penalty, and I don't know what's going to happen. You can't penalise him for the next race for a jump start in this race. Janitz now on the tail of his teammate Kajaya. Lots of coverage of their Volkswagens at the back of the field. No changes further forward then. Oriola from Grashov and Borkovic. How transformed is Mikhail Grashov? To say he'd never been on the podium in his days with Enxler. I'm going to just check that because I'm not quite sure that is actually the case. 2015. He had 2 third positions in Macau and Sochi. Never taken a win. And now he's just a transformed driver. Camini on the defensive from Tassi. No need for that, Stefano. Oh, and now Tassi's had to take to the slip road. He's obviously better off that last corner, Attila Tassi. But there's no point in challenging because there's no real space to get through into the chicane. And Camini's just elbowed him out the way, and Tassi's now lost a load of track position. Now we've got Volkswagen battle at the back of the field. Homola still looking racy, isn't he, behind James Nash? It's the battle for 4th position. Dusan Borkovic is going to be very happy with his position in 3rd place. He's had 2 thirds so far this season. Second race in Buriram and Spa. Look at that. Tassi just shouldn't have put himself in that position. Stefano didn't do anything wrong there. Okay, the elbowing was probably unnecessary, but by putting himself on the outside, it meant that he just was never going to get to the apex of the turn. 5 laps remaining, and camera 8 has got a drop of water on his lenses. On his lenses? On his lens. That was where the rain came yesterday, that part of the circuit. Remember, all these guys are on slick tyres. I'm sure our race control and our race director will likely red flag if we get a huge deluge. It's unsafe to have the cars out on slick tyres in wet conditions. Again, Kamini's not good out of that last turn, is he? Contact between the two of them. Kajaya was not going to allow him to shut the door that time. And every single lap, Kamini's under pressure going into the first turn. Nash has shaken off the attentions of Matto Homola for a few moments. And actually focusing on a slipstream from Dusan Borkovic, perhaps. Maybe we'll see James Nash onto the podium. Homola's going, Borkovic's going a bit defensive. We're going to have an overlap here, but James is going to be on the outside line as we come to the top corner. Oh, can Dusan hold on to the inside here? Side by side, yes he can, but will he slide wide through this part of the turn and allow James down the inside? No, he won't. And all that defending has allowed Homola back up. Great stuff. This is what this Salzburgring offers. Big slipstreaming battles. Grashov is just a little bit too far away with a 1-point-second deficit to Oriola. Oriola's slowing down. Our leader is slowing down and has a problem. No way. No power. Look, the electronics has slowed the car down. The lights were off. He's turned the car off, turned it back on again. Oh, disaster. Grashov now leads. Borkovic second, Nash third, Homola fourth, and the Oriola family are going to be having kittens. Normally, you get a great big hug from Daddy Oriola when you're in the paddock, but I think he's going to be furious. He's going to be furious. Two different brands of car as well, remember. Jordi's driving a Honda, and Pepe is driving a Seat, and somehow both of them have got technical issues. Wow. And they're supposed to be bulletproof, these cars. James Nash was saying yesterday he was very confused why he had a differential issue and an engine problem in the last race, because the Seats are clearly a very reliable car. Borkovic on the defensive again from James Nash, who's got a nice big slipstream. Can't find a way through though. Borkovic is playing this very, very cleverly. Nash down the inside. Keeps the lock on. It's quite good to do that because it means the front wheels have effectively got more grip. Now we've got a battle on our hands. This is crazy. TCR International Series just kicks up surprise after surprise. And we've still got 3 laps remaining, and we've still got the clouds forming above. Can Grashov hold on for a second victory in succession? The only man, he'll be the only man other than Pepe Oriola to do 2 wins in the series this year. But so far he's on course for that, unless Borkovic can find a way through. The Honda's fast down the back straight though. Oh, Kajaya's made a mistake. He's got past Stefano Camini though. But he's cut across the chicane, and did he gain an advantage from that? Camini now under pressure from Tassi. Tassi's put himself on the wrong part of the circuit again. You know, you can't go round the outside, surely. But what he can do is get the cut back. A slingshot out of the Nockstein, and then all the way down this long straight, have a nice chunk of slipstream. This is Attila Tassi's best chance, surely. Camini goes defensive, goes one way than the other, but Tassi's just got such better speed. No chance for Camini to really defend that. Now what Camini can do is do his superior driving through turn 8. Yeah, he'd already made the pass, hadn't he? But he then didn't quite get the car slowed down. But oh, Camini then took to the grass. That's why he couldn't get past. Did that change? I don't know if that changed. Grashov, Borkovic, Nash, Homola, Morbidelli for the win. Further back, just trying to see if that position did change. Tassi stayed ahead of Camini. And now has David Kajaya to try and fight for 7th position. Grashov is very, very good off the chicane in the traction zones. And that is allowing him to just get enough of a gap so that Borkovic can't get into his slipstream. Morbidelli, whatever his problem was in the first couple of laps, seems to have solved itself, because he's really now on this train of cars, the 3 Seats in the middle, a triple Seat sandwich, if you like. Where's the slipstream going to come from this time? Nash is close to Borkovic, isn't he? But we've seen this time and time again. The slipstream just not quite efficient enough to allow James to find a way through that long right-hander. Homela's thinking about attacking Nash. Can't find a way through either. The drops continue to drop onto camera 8. Harold Procek is out on the track trying to see if his car's good for the next race. Is he going to get in the way? No, he's done very well there to get out of the way. Nash's car carrying the scars of an early race clash, but it shouldn't really be affecting him too much. Homela goes to the inside, but not close enough. Just a bit of a distraction. Oh, Borkovic is much closer than he's been before. This is a chance. What's happened to Grashov? Borkovic normally is left behind through that first chicane. Oh, they are so close. This is the last lap. Borkovic has only really got one more proper chance to get himself onto the top step of the podium and to deny Grashov and West Coast Racing their 4th victory of the season. But yeah, he's fallen back, so he didn't get the traction out of the Nockstein. And actually, James Nash is really fancying a chance here. Down the back straight, side by side, there is an overlap. Nash on the outside line though. Contact between the two of them. Whoa, that was scary. And Dusan Borkovic has the inside line, but no, he runs wide. He's off onto the gravel, into the barrier. Big hit for Dusan Borkovic. I wonder if he got a puncture from that contact. Nash moves up into second, Homela into third. Oh, Borkovic is going to be furious. Through the last 2 turns then, I'm not sure James Nash's car is quite as happy as it was from that big contact, but it's going to be Mikhail Grashov who wins once again the TCR International Series. 2 wins out of 2 races. James Nash in second position, puts the windscreen wipers on to celebrate, and Mato Homela in third position. Gianni Morbidelli 4th, and it's all smiles at West Coast Racing. There's Dusan Borkovic. Oh, God. I don't think we're going to see that car in race 2. Oh, gutting. And over the line to pick up a point for Alfa Romeo, Michaela Cerruti. What a story. That car certainly isn't working to its full potential, but she has got herself a point. Simply for staying out of trouble. Once again, repair time is going to be very interesting in the TCR International Series because there's 6 cars that we need to get back onto the track. Here is the contact between the 2 of them. It was left front contact on James's rear quarter, and Borkovic then just with no steering because he has a puncture. Can't get the car slowed down, bang into the wall. It would have been a big hit for Dusan. There he is on the left-hand side of the screen. I just hope that there's not too much internal damage to the suspension of that car so they can get him back out for race 2. Not bad points for Morbidelli in 4th, considering he had problems. Misses out on the podium, but I think considering how far back he was at the start of the race, I'd be very happy with that. We've got some very bruised cars, haven't we, out on circuit and in the pit lane. Oh. Mikhail Grashov has just turned himself... Oop, don't go into the gravel, Mikhail. What a star. What a star. There's one thing winning a reverse grid race 2, but there's quite another being in the thick of it, the thick of the action. He was chasing down Oriola. I'm quite sure why he insists on driving on the grass. But Grashov has earned this one completely and wholeheartedly. He's much more in tune with the Honda than he was with his Volkswagen and other various models that he drove last year. And the West Coast team are going to be seriously happy with this. They would not have expected it to be Grashov giving them their 4th win of the year. And as I said, he's only the second driver this season to have scored 2 victories. We've had 9 races, We've had 7 different winners. Grashov was the 7th in Imola, and now he's added a 2nd win to his tally. Gregor Peterson is very happy indeed. He's got lots of guests here. I can't believe it, says Mikhail Grashov. I really can't believe it. There's James Nash. Hugs all round for Team Bamboo. Incident between him and Dusan Borkovic is under investigation, but I'm not really sure what there is to investigate there. Another podium for Matto Homola in 3rd spot. And here is confirmation of the provisional result, I think we could call it. Grashov from Nash and Homola, they'll be the podium mounters. Morbidelli just missing out in 4th spot. Venet holds on to 5th, considering how hopelessly slow that car was down the back straight. Great recovery. Tassi 6th, Kajaya 7th, Kamini 8th, Janitz 9th on his debut, and Alfa Romeo have a point in 10th position. Those are those drivers who retired out of the race. Fingers crossed we'll see a lot of them in the next one.
Yeah, but for sure, Pepe. My bad, I'm not ready.
Celebrations then down in Parc Ferme. James Nash's girlfriend and James Nash's father. And a sister. Oh, there's a sister there as well. Celebrating his 2nd spot. But let's talk to Mikhail Grashov. A 2nd win of the season for him.
Mikhail, congratulations. 2nd win of the series, but your body language says you really weren't expecting that.
Yeah, for sure, it was again unexpected. Last event in Imola, it was unexpected, but here I really did not expect this win. For sure, Pepe should be there because he was in front, and I was without his technical problem. I hadn't any opportunity to overtake him. Of course, safety car helps me a lot, but we have such a compromised setup because we wait in the rain, so our car was a little bit softer than we needed in dry conditions. So that means that I was fast in slow corners. You can see that all exits from slow corners was not bad, but the high-speed section in the 3rd sector was, I really struggling with it. So, yeah, I'm happy now. So.
Well done.
Thank you.
He looks more confused than happy, doesn't he? Driver's points then. Oriola holds on to the championship lead. It's slightly reduced, but it's still healthy. Nash moves himself well up into contention. Back into 3rd, just 19 off now. Morbidelli drops to 4th, although his gap is reduced to Oriola with a no score for Pepe. Then Homola, Venet, Afanasiev, Pellenin still in the top 10. And Grashov jumps into the top 10 now, and Tassi picks up some points and moves into 12th position. Not far off Dusan Borkovic. The question is this going to be a double no score for Oriola? Or are the guys at Bamboo going to get his car sorted for race 2? We saw that Harold Procek came back out, so we're going to have Harold on the grid for sure. We need to look and find out about Peter Fullin's Alpha. Looked like cosmetic damage on the front of that car, so as long as they've got a new bumper that they can fit onto it, then we'll happily see him on row 2 of the grid. Then Sergei Afanasiev, we think that was just a puncture. He kept it out the barriers, so that should be easy to fix. And then there is Oriola duo. That's the problem. Very, very nice indeed. Look at those trophies. I won't fancy one of those. Oh, Mikhail Grashov and James Nash and Matto Homola are going to get their hands on those. I hope they can... big glass. They're going to be heavy, aren't they? Wow. The TCR International Series continues to surprise. It is really quite a spectacle. That, just looking at that tyre stack there reminds me of Dusan Borkovic's overtaking. His action, by the way, on his incident has been, well, it said under investigation, and then just as I was talking to you, the message has changed. Oh, it has changed again to no further action. So the stewards have decided that there was no problems there. It was simply contact with his front wheel on James Nash's rear wheel, which gave him a puncture, and then obviously at the next turn he couldn't turn in. Question is, with the contact with the barriers, how are they going to get that car fixed for race 2? All right then, we're going to get the podium ceremony underway. There's Mikhail Grashov. The champagne logistics being discussed. What we're going to do with the champagne? What are we going to do with the Pommery? Because obviously they have another race, so they don't want to stay in those overalls smelling of champagne in their cockpit for the whole of the second race. That would be horrible. But nice to see them with some champagne. Nasha, Homola, and Mikhail Grashov is your victor. What a transformation. West Coast Racing very much enjoying the podium ceremony. I'm not quite sure why he's standing there. I think there's a place. There we go. The Russian national anthem plays out. And it's time for the ceremony. Thank you to Alexander Reiner for having us here at the Salzburgring. This is the first race of the year here in the Salzburgring. It's been recently bought by a very well-known, very rich Austrian company that you may have heard of. And in that transition, lots of plans to upgrade the circuit, although very difficult to do too much around here because the trees and the fields. Nasha looks happy, doesn't he? So nice to see guys on podiums looking happy. Some other series around the world, they just stand there as a ceremony. Matto, second in the last race, and the champagne sprays over the crowd below. And the Austrian music plays out through the mountains as well. Wonderful to hear. Right, that was race 1. What an amazing, amazing race. There's more to come here from Austria in the Salzburgring, so make sure you stay with us.